And I'm super excited to share that GeoShred has introduced a bunch of new Indian instruments under their series called Naada. So today I'm gonna play a piece in Raga Bilahari, which will feature the instruments like Naada Shehnai, Naada Basuri, which is the Indian flute, and Naada Carnatic violin. So I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you all see me? Just let me know in the comments if you're able to hear. Uh, so, so yes, my name is Mahesh Raghvan, and welcome to LivDemy for today's session. We're all excited to be here for the launch of the Naada Instruments on GeoShred. And first of all, I hope you've been enjoying the wonderful demos of the new sounds by my friends and fellow GeoShredders Navneet Sundar, Madan, Setu, Madhavan, Arjun, and Siddhi. So personally, GeoShred has been a game changer for me, and the addition of the new instruments has made it even better for all of us Indian musicians and everyone who loves to play the app. So, without much further ado, I'd like to invite Jordan. Um, so, Jordan, can you turn on your camera and unmute yourself? Hey,
Hello,
Jordan. Hey,
everybody.
Pat.
Hey, we're very excited that we're doing this and happy to
Yeah.
have all of our team, our Indian musician team. I was just telling Pat that, when we created this app, we knew we were creating a really cool musical instrument, but to have it come this far and to influence all of you and have it accepted and enjoyed means so much to us. So it's great that you're with us and also sharing it to so many people out there that might not know the magic of GeoShred.
So yeah, first of all, thank you so much for creating the app. It's personally for me, it's like a game changer. And I had a few questions actually to ask you. And first of all, when you created GeoShred, what was the inspiration behind it? Of course, I've been playing GeoSynth as well before that, but what was the inspiration behind GeoShred?
I always had this dream of being able to easily go between kind of a fretless modality and diatonic. And there was nothing that really did that. So that was what I really wanted to do. And many years ago, I kind of got that started and created an app called moForte, which was kind of the
Okay.
beginning of that. Even before, like, I can't think of anything else really before that allowed you to do the kind of thing where you would play definite notes, then be able to slide around as well. So that got the whole kind of party started, and it's come a long way. It's most of the apps that I've released since kind of the beginning there have had this kind of idea, because it was very important to me to create something that had this approach. So GeoShred kind of brings that to a strong reality. So
Yeah,
yeah.
the ability to play and move between notes on a touchscreen, I think for us Indian musicians, the ability to access those microtones actually means a lot. We can actually do the slides that, make it possible to replicate Indian music in an authentic way. So
Yeah.
yeah, for us, it's been. And what has the journey been like for you with the app? Have you? I'm sure you've heard many stories of people like the app doing things for many people.
Yeah. I mean, one of the interesting things about GeoShred is that, you think about it and we're playing on like, iPads and iPhones,
Yeah.
and there's this glass surface. So from one point of view, you'd think, wow, how expressive can you be on a glass surface? But the amazing thing about it is that after playing probably every kind of you know, software and hardware instrument, I always come back and I play GeoShred and I play on the glass and I think, this is like the best way to do this. Really, really works. So, I really appreciate it more and more, and hearing all you guys play it as well, where you have such control of the, minute details of the pitch, just is so rewarding to me and to us, because it's really kind of reaffirming the fact that what we've created is capable of what we set out to do. So every day, kind of wake up and see somebody else playing it, or seeing one of the performances of the guys we have here with us, and I go, wow, this is really something. So it's amazing, an
Yeah,
amazing journey.
especially because especially here in India, there's so many geoshredders now, and people have really taken to the app. And I wanted to ask you, like, are there any other countries that you know that have accepted geoshred so much?
Yeah, talking about that. Why
Yeah.
don't you handle that?
Yeah.
Interesting
So,
question.
there's a growing number of people in China who are very interested in GeoShred. And this Nada release contains a classic Chinese instrument, bowed string instrument called the erhu, which is a very it's almost like a soprano singer singing when the performer plays it, and it's amazing to play this from the GeoShred glass. So we're working with the Beijing Music Conservatory to try to get some of the students there to to play with this instrument and then look further at GeoShred. The main reason that it's hard in China is that because of the Great Firewall, it's hard for us to get our informational videos to be visible to people
Oh,
in China.
okay.
So that's a big barrier. At some point, we'll have to translate all the videos and re-upload them into the Chinese side of the internet.
Okay, that's nice. But yeah, I've been actually trying out all of those sounds, and they sound so authentic, and it just like the real thing. So I see that you guys started off as a physically modeled stringed instrument, and then you guys had Swarm, and now we have Nada. So it's really exciting that all of these sounds are not really samples, but they're actually produced on the app from scratch.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's really expanding. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, what is the journey ahead like for you guys? Like, I really like, because you guys started off as an musical instrument, then a MIDI controller. So do you guys have, what are the plans for the future?
What's really cool, and when I present GeoShred to other people, I always say, GeoShred is a musical instrument, but it's also a platform. It's a full platform because you can get kind of caught up in the fact, okay, it plays nicely and, it's a good sounding instrument. But then you think, okay, well, it's actually a really powerful MIDI controller, and it's also a tone module, so you can play it from
Yeah.
anything else. So the thing is just has grown into a real platform, and for that it means that we can kind of be the house for so many different kinds of things. Like, we're talking to a lot of different people about the future of GeoShred, the different kinds of sounds that we can bring in, and there's a big future for it. We kind of spent a lot of time, especially this guy over here and my other partners, Nick and Julius, but they built an amazing platform for this, which is fantastic because now it has these real roots. Now we can just, let it kind of grow and flourish,
Mhm.
especially with
Yeah.
my friends like you who play
Yeah.
it so beautifully.
And I'd like to
Thank
add to
you.
that sort of what the future looks like. There are definitely going to be more Nada instruments. There's another pack that will come out in November sometime. And then after that, there will be a version of GeoShred on desktop, starting with the Macintosh, so that if you have a
Oh,
production workflow on a desktop, you'll be able to use your iPad to perform it into Logic, initially Logic, on your desktop, and so it'll be right there in your normal workflow. And then after that, there'll be a Windows version of it as well.
oh, that sounds very exciting. That,
Yeah.
because the ability to have it on a Mac means I can just use a MIDI controller, right? Which I still can, but
And yeah, it's an interesting point too. The Nada instruments are all designed. Though the GeoSwarm instruments work with MPE controllers, the Nada instruments are designed to work with conventional MIDI controllers, MPE controllers, and Wind controllers.
oh wow,
I hear applause in
Yeah, Wind
there.
that
controllers.
deserves a round of applause. So
Yes,
Yeah.
right,
there,
right.
so yeah, actually, there are a few people watching who have no idea what GeoShred is. So I would request Jordan if you can just give a quick introduction to the app and just tell people how awesome it is and what it actually does. So
Sure. Well, you want to put that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can show you where it all started. Okay, so hopefully you can hear what's going on here. So as you had mentioned before, Mahesh, the first model was a string instrument. And for a long time, that's all we had. And there was one particular sound that was so inspiring to me because you could really rock on this sound.
yeah.
And even within this kind of world of this sound, we watched it develop and we were able to add interesting things to it. So the string model that we have can do a lot of things, but one of the things it does can sound kind of like this, like.
Wow. That sounds fantastic. It's always
Yeah, it's so
amazing to
cool.
hear you play it.
And that we have an instrument that can be played in so many different ways.
I know, I
You
know, I
know,
know.
the incredible thing. So, the basic concept, I mean, there's a lot of things about GeoShred worth pointing out, but the way it got started out was with this really interesting pitch intelligence. So what's happening with GeoShred is that when my finger lands on a note, like let's say I play this G, when it lands in the area of the G, this box that's the G, wherever I press it initially, it will be perfectly in tune. Let's go an octave higher. Maybe that'll translate better through the airwaves. And as soon as I move my finger, the moment I start to move, it starts to track my finger and will do vibrato. So it becomes a very like fretless instrument. So I get the initial attack. The initial touch is what we call rounded and in tune. But when I move my finger from point A to point B, like if I go from this note to this note, the first note will be in tune. And when I slide my finger to the destination, it's going to be in tune again as soon as I stop my finger, which means I can do this kind of thing. Right? And then as soon as I move my finger again, it will vibrato. And not only that, something happened when we were first doing all this. I was hanging out with some guitar player friends, and I was noticing that when they played on the guitar and they were way up high in the neck and playing notes, they would just almost naturally want to keep the notes sustaining. So they would shake the string. And I was in Mexico City, actually, and I had called Julius from Mexico City. I said, Julius, the guitar players, they're keeping the sound alive by shaking the note. And he was like, I can do that. And so he put that into the model. So now if you move your finger on a note and it starts to die, but if you move it a little bit, it'll actually keep the note alive. So if you go like this, it starts to fade a little. I can be like, right? And not only
Wow.
that, if I use the expression pad, it almost simulates like a guitar player walking up to his amp and getting that kind of feedback. And a lot of times when guitar players do that, it's not very controlled. And GeoShred, in a way, it's not controlled, but you usually get feedback and tones, harmonics that are desirable. Kind of like, let's see if we can do it. There we go.
Wow.
We gotta really give it some love and come on. And of course, the whammy. So these are some of the things that really make it organic. And one more sound that kind of demonstrates the magic here, and that is this one. So sometimes you see in GeoShred, we can take the notes and actually resize them. So every patch can have the notes be a different size depending on what you're doing. So if you have a lot of expression, you can have different musical controllers, different things happening as you move within the area of a note. So like in this patch, when my finger first lands on it, you get very little sound. But as I move through the area of the note, a lot happens, kind of like this. So it gets very, very expressive, and yeah, that's a
Indeed.
little taste of what GeoShred
It
can
there's
do.
so much even I haven't explored in the app, and it's just amazing. I think how many presets do we have? Around 500 presets, right? More than that, I guess.
There's
No,
400 now, I think.
400.
Yeah,
Wow,
with Naada, there's
And it
yeah.
just
we gotta
yeah,
we
just
gotta hang out. We gotta hang out so I can show you my stuff and you can share what you've learned.
that would be lovely. That would be lovely.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do.
And I right now there are 400. I'm hoping there are 4,000 maybe like in a year to come. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots to
probably.
explore.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, maybe we can do a quick jam, and then we can talk about the topic of the day, which is Nada Instruments. Maybe you'd like to talk
Mm.
about it first, and then maybe we can play something.
Maybe I'll let Pat
Yeah.
introduce Naada
Yeah,
Instruments because he's
yeah.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so just a couple things to say about the Naada Instruments. They were created by a wonderful engineer in India, and he is a fan of Julius's work. Dr. Julius Smith, who's one of the founders of moForte, who's really the father of this physical modeling technology, and so there are actually, I think, 14 Nada instruments, of which the first 7 are going to go out or are out now. And there'll be another group of them that goes out in about a month, sometime later in November. And the instruments are really intended for people playing classical Indian music and people playing modern Indian music. There's a Carnatic violin, there's a bansuri, there's a shanai, there's a sarangi, there's a veena, and so all these instruments are intended to be complementary to performing classical Indian music and contemporary Indian music. And then there'll be another set of instruments coming out in later in November, which will also add to that.
Great, great. Maybe now is a great time to just demonstrate again the new sounds, and maybe we can play. Madan, would you like to join us?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Um,
Sure.
hey,
There
Madan,
he
how are
is.
you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. My
Very good.
yeah,
So maybe what all of us can do, we can just play a bit of, one of us can play a sound and the other one can play a different sound, and maybe we'll just see where that goes.
sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Cool.
Would
Where
you
do
like
we
to start,
start?
Mahesh? You can start. I'll follow up with you.
Okay, so cool. I'm going to play the basuri, and I'm tuned to D. So
Okay,
just letting you know.
sure.
Wonderful. I guess that covered a lot of sounds. That was too much fun.
Nice.
That was
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Amazing. So maybe now is a good time to invite Suthambara as well, and we can talk about the new instruments and introduce them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
great. I'm glad you guys got to see.
So Suthambara, can you send a request to join? Yeah. So yeah, maybe we can talk about the list of the new instruments because a lot of them were actually asking. So Pat, can you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and enumerate them. So there is the bansuri, the bamboo flute. There is the shanai, the double reed instrument. There is the sarangi. There is the Carnatic violin. There is an Armenian double reed instrument called the duduk. And there is a Chinese bow string instrument. It really tugs at my heart, the arhu. And I'm really glad that you played that. That was really good.
So pretty.
Yeah. And is that the whole list? Sutu, is that the whole list? Did I get them all?
Yeah, for the first release, yes. Yeah.
So we have Suthambara here, who's the man behind the whole Naada Instruments, and welcome to LivDemy and to this session. So yeah, so you designed these instruments. So I would like you to talk about your background and how you designed all of these brilliantly sounding instruments. So maybe you can talk to us about that.
Yeah, thanks, Mahesh. I'm quite excited to be here. And yeah, it all started with, I would say, my basic thing was to actually understand how these instruments actually work. And that's when I looked into Dr. Julius Smith's works. And I think Julius has a fabulous website. I think people should visit that if they want to understand how an instrument works, right? So it's kind of tailored for the beginner as well as for the advanced person. And then I also I did have a background in computer science, so I do have a PhD there. And I was always interested in signal processing, physics, music. So I also play the Carnatic flute. So Carnatic music is my kind of the base. Yeah, that's what I've been trained. And so yeah, and then all of this I think helped me then to actually make this, and that's how it started, I would say.
Great. So yeah. So you come from a very computers plus music background. So how did the collaboration with GeoShred happen? Actually, was it just through Julius's website?
So I sent out a mail to Pat, I think maybe a year ago or something, with some sounds, and then we had a couple of meetings, and then yeah, it just started from there. And then yeah.
Amazing. So just to be clear, all these sounds are they're all physical models, right?
Purely physical models. Yeah, there's not a single sample anywhere in any of the instruments.
Like, how did you manage get to get these sounds to be so authentic? Because like there's so much detail in it, which is why I'm asking you.
Yeah, thanks. I think yeah, if a musician tells that, I think I'll take that as a big compliment, like you. So yeah, yeah, it's just iterating till you get the sound right. So I have no other formula for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
and
perseverance, I would say.
yeah, and I believe there are features catered to specific instruments. So for the Veena we have the strum feature,
Hmm.
and we have the pluck string feature, which is very it's a thing that happens on the Veena, where you can pluck the string with a button on the left hand and you can just slide. So that is extremely useful if you want to get things right. And even for the bansuri we have the flutter, and we
Yeah.
have what there's a button where you can trigger another
Yeah.
note. So maybe you can talk to us about those things, and on each instrument what is special for each instrument.
Yeah. So for the Veena, like you said, it's the pluck, and so the Veena is um, a little more complex compared to guitar because it has a flat bridge. So
Yeah,
that's the same for a lot of Indian instruments like the sitar, Rudraveena. A lot of them have either a flat bridge or even the tambura, which has that thread also on top of it, right?
yeah,
So we need to get the physics right to actually emulate that exact sound. And for me, an advantage that I had was my mother plays the veena. So
oh, okay,
so I could always see her play, and I could also yeah play around with her instrument, take measurements. Then I could closely observe what she does, like say pluck and all that, right? So that's what I translated here. And then I do have a couple of friends who play the violin also. And then and when I listen to also a lot of recordings, it's the bow switching, right? So when
yeah,
they do this and this kind of motion, and that kind of gives a lot of realism,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
that's also something that was added here just to get that kind. This becomes very critical for the sarangi, because I've heard, like say, Ustad Sultan Khan play and all of them, and when they move this bow, and that gives a lot of realism to it.
yeah.
And yeah.
So yeah, it is definitely real, and you've sampled every string, right? Every string has a, like,
Yeah.
you can access the sample for every string. That's what makes it like that added level of realism.
Correct.
And so yeah, that's something I found amazing. So we have a few questions. Badri Narayan is asking, will Nadaswaram be coming to Nada Instruments, and
So
when will that be?
I'll go ahead and answer that. I'm looking for the chat window here, but yes, the next release will have a not a swarm.
Okay. Uh, Great. That, because that's also something that I asked you when I first. So a lot of people are actually looking forward to that. Adi Narayan has a question. Could you provide a background on how physical modeling is different from sampling?
So I'll go ahead and take that, and I'll let Sutu jump in as well. So with physical modeling, with sampling, you just make a recording of the instrument, and it's a static, unchanged recording. And you can try to do things to make it expressive, but it's really difficult. With a physical model, you actually go to the equations that represent the physics of the musical instrument, the way it produces sounds, and all of the things that the musician does to express that instrument, like overblowing the reed or hitting a harmonic on a string. All those things can be brought into the model, and those can then be added to multidimensional controllers such as GeoShred or an MPE controller. And so you just have a completely different level of expression available to you, driven by the physics of the instrument.
Great. I'm sure that because the thing with the physical model, in my experiences, you can do so much more and be a lot more expressive. Especially what I really like, if I can demonstrate, is on the Basuri patch. So there's this also this feature called it's basically it's a button called pressure enable. So if you actually if you just slide your finger up, so that's the equivalent of what's the technical term for that?
Overblowing. Yeah.
Overblowing. Yeah.
Overblowing.
So
So
basically,
I
if
can
you,
actually show that on a real flute. It sounds exactly the
yeah,
same, right? Right. So I don't know how you can do this with samples. So it has to be physically modeled to
exactly,
get this
Yeah.
kind of
Show examples.
Yeah.
yeah. This
Now
is
our listeners close their eyes and tell which is which.
Yeah.
It'd be very difficult, right?
yeah. That's what makes it amazing. Okay, and we have a question from Satyajit who's asking, can you please tell us if sitar is going to make it to the list of Nada instruments?
it'll definitely be there.
Yep.
And we have everything that is required for the sitar, like say the flat or the curved bridge. Then yeah, everything that's required for physically modeling it. It's just a matter of building it. Sitar has a lot of strings, so performance is something that we need to take care.
Yeah.
And all the sympathetic strings also hit a flat bridge here, so that makes it a little complex, and it's really critical to get that. When you strum a sitar, sitar actually means something that's like a star, right? It's sparkling,
Yeah.
and it has that buzz. So to get it right, I think we have to really have the physics right, and yeah, we will do it.
Great.
Maybe in 3 months, maybe.
I'm waiting for that for sure. So Vinay has a question. Could there be a wind interface to GeoShred? I'm thinking he's talking about a wind controller. Is that on your roadmap?
So the GeoSwarm instruments don't have a wind interface, and it has to do with the relationship with audio modeling and the Swarm models. However, the Naada instruments, we're going to do an update release in 2 days maybe, and all of the Naada presets will be able to be controlled from a wind controller. Wind controllers use continuous controller number 2, CC2, called Breath, to drive them, and the update that comes out in a couple days will support wind controllers.
That's amazing, because I've seen a lot of keyboard players use Swarm instruments on stage, but what they do is they connect the wind controller to their laptop. So I'm wondering if there's a way we can later on just hook up GeoShred with the wind controller and just play.
Well, yeah, there's a couple ways you can do it. If you just have a wind controller, like one of these kind of wind controllers, you'll just be able to plug it in by USB directly into GeoShred. And if you have one of those headsets, we're experimenting with those headsets right now. We haven't completely worked it out, but you should be able to blow into the headset and play from the GeoShred keyboard.
That's amazing. If that could be possible, that adds one more layer of expression to the iPad apart from the expression. Cool. So we have another question. If you buy the Nada collection, is that going to include for future instruments, or do we need to buy every time? So maybe you can talk about how. Yeah.
The Naada instruments are available individually. They're also available as a collection, and that's called Naada 1. And then there'll be a second set of instruments that will be available individually, and there'll be a second collection called Naada 2. And we will offer a top level collection of Naada 1 and Naada 2, which will be at a discount of the two instruments. And there's something I do want to say, because this comes up all the time. The prices that we quote are always in US dollars. It has to do with how Apple runs e-commerce. We can't do anything about it. We're not able to quote prices in other currencies. But in some countries, and unfortunately in India, the Indian government levies additional value-added tax onto the prices. So the US prices in US dollars plus India's value-added tax.
Wonderful. So these are going to be in-app purchases, right? Just to be.
There's a store built into GeoShred. If I might grab your iPad here, Jordan, I'm going to just pull it up for a second. So I'm in GeoShred, and there's a store at the top. And there we go. There's the Naada store, and all the instruments are available with their previews uh, in the store. And then the earlier GeoSwarm instruments are there as well.
Great. And when is this going to be out?
Release.
The
When
release date.
will? Oh, well, actually live right now.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. So Nada Collection 1 is
Yeah,
live
been
right now.
it's been live for about 2 or 3 days right now, but we won't really start telling people about it in a big way until maybe Monday. We wanted to get it out there, get some feedback, find out if there are any issues. We found a couple things that we're going to fix, which will go out in maybe 2 days, and then we'll start the big, posting the video, sharing on social media, and all those types of things.
Wonderful. A lot of people are asking, would you consider haptic feedback skins for GeoShred? Which is a very interesting question.
We have well, so it depends on how you define haptic. There is tactile, which isn't really haptic, which would be like a silicon skin that goes over the glass. And then there's real haptics, which is where you have a motor that pushes back. And so we're open to anything. One of the challenges is that making silicon skins for the glass, Apple keeps changing the form factor of the screen so frequently that it's pretty hard to come up with anything. I will tell you that Gerald Peter, who is one of our influencers from Austria, has taken a screen protector and he cut it into little squares and placed it down on the keys so that he could find the keys. It was a great, innovative solution. And then there's a guy over at Google who is working on haptic motors for phones to have feedback and things like oil layers that bubble up on the top of the screen. That's really far out technology, but we're going to have a meeting with him and talk with him about that stuff. I would think that the stuff that he's working on paired with GeoShred would just be an amazing demonstration for him and for us.
Wonderful. It would be lovely to have a session with him as well. So
yeah,
it would be a lot to learn. Cool. We've run out of questions. Is there anything you guys would like to add? Madan, you haven't spoken for a while.
It's been my absolute pleasure being here, having an opportunity to play with the Jordan sir and with you, Mahesh. And a big thanks to Pat for constant support. And we have been working closely since about a 2 year or year and a half. Big thanks to Satyajit for introducing me to LivDemy. I think we are having our courses ready, and me and Mahesh, we would be having an individual GeoShred course. It's called the iPad Music Academy, which is coming up very soon. I think it should be out by now. Satyajit can add a little bit to it. And yes, a big thanks to Suthambara for your amazing instruments. And I just loved playing all of them. They are really amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. I guess, are there any more questions? I guess no. So I think that would be all. Pat, any words before we?
Well, I one thing I see that you folk that LivDemy posted is the playlist of previews that's on YouTube.
Okay.
Link is there. It's really good to take a look at it. Madan did quite a few of them. Mahesh did some of them. Jordan did some of them, and it's fun to look at them and it'll give you a sense for what the instruments can do.
Yeah. So yeah, and we also have the link out for iPad Music Academy. So if you guys want to learn GeoShred, you can just click that link, and Madan and I would be taking group classes, so you guys can join. And join in this wonderful world of playing music on the iPad. So that's the link in the description. The classes will start the 3rd week of this month, and classes focus on performance and production. So yeah, cool. Thank you so much. Suthambara, would you like to add anything else to that?
Yeah, I'm quite excited about this release, and especially when I see musicians play this. Like, say, I've seen Madan play a bunch, I've seen you play a bunch, and also Jordan. So that, oh, are my instruments like this? That's like the biggest compliment, right? So it keeps me going, because when I play it, it really sucks. It doesn't sound that good. So that's
Well,
yeah, that keeps me, I think, encouraged. And yeah, I would advise, I think I would want everybody to play this. That will be a big encouragement for me. And yeah, thanks for all the support as well.
Yeah. I guess until
one
you
thing I
play
want
it, yeah. Jordan, yeah, of course.
I just want to say that, one of the beautiful things about this and having us all here is that what really creates GeoShred is this team. I mean, not the whole team is on, right here. I know Julius, I think, is watching right now, and maybe Nick is out there as well.
Yeah.
But, everything from the engineers to the initial vision to the players, we all work together, and it forms this whole to create, what we know as GeoShred and the evolution of it and the magic of it. So so thanks to all of you for being part of this, because it means really everything to what we do.
Wonderful, wonderful. So people on YouTube are apparently asking us to play something before we end the session. So maybe we can do another quick demo of the sounds and call it a day.
Sure.
Cool.
Cool.
Same
Madan,
format?
yeah, same format.
Yeah, same format. Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful. Beautiful, Jordan. Beautiful, Madan. So it was lovely having all of you as part of this session. And I hope you guys go check out the Naada Instruments collection one. I think it's now live. You can go on the App Store, download GeoShred, get the pack, and enjoy yourselves.